hypothetical, I'll ask you, do you think young people should go to college? Yes or no? Yes, okay. Hey, can we get settled? So your position is young people should go to college, right? Okay. So that's gonna be and this is hypothetical. I've said before, I don't think college is right for everybody, and we all probably know people that didn't go to college that make really good money, so, okay? But our position is gonna be college, yes, we should go. Why? Further your education. Why else? To get a job. Statistically, you make more money with a college degree over the course of your career. Any other reasons to go to college? The experience. Maybe I'll go to college for the girls. My daughter was excited to go to college. We live in Lubbock and she's at Texas Tech, but she's living in the dorms because she wanted that experience of being independent and growing up. And so independence, out of the house. Any other reasons? I do have good handwriting. You can see over there. This is just for a quickie example, but any other reasons you do want to go to college? Put off adulting as long as possible. Okay. We've got our list of reasons why. What's the best reason up there? What do you think is the strongest reason? The job? Okay. I'm going to combine job and money. I agree with you, and I'm going to combine those two because they kind of go together because the money comes from the job, right? So that's number one. That's our strongest reason. What would the next best example be? Best reason?
Education.
Education, okay. Education, I could combine those two, education and experience maybe. Okay, so that's our second best reason. What about girls? Is that a good reason? That's an expensive way to meet girls, paying for college. So that's kind of stupid, so I'll cross that out. Independence and growing up, maybe that could go with experience, I don't know. Maybe we'll leave it off. Okay. So I've asked this before, I'll ask you again. What is a thesis statement? Where does it go? In the introduction, so you have an introduction paragraph, and you got a hook, and the idea is to introduce the topic and hook the reader in, get them excited or interested in what the topic is, and the thesis statement goes right here at the end of the introduction. Now, I don't know what you've been taught, and when you go to college, there's other ways to do this. This is not the only way, but this is like the simplest way to make sure that, your argument is laid out well and it's clear. Okay, so we like it at the end of the introduction, the thesis statement. So what does the thesis statement do? It doesn't explain it, but it does state it. So it gives your position. It states your claim. It introduces the topic. Here's what the paper's about.
Yeah, it's like a summary of what you're about to talk about.
Okay, very short. It doesn't explain, but very short summary. Your position. Now we're writing a persuasive example here. So we were persuading, yes, you should go to college. So it's going to be yes to college. Okay, so that's the first thing it does, but the thesis statement does something else. What else does it do? It sets up the rest of the paper. It provides a roadmap for where we're going. If you've opened a book and you've seen chapter 1, and here's the title, and chapter 2, and here's the title, it's basically doing that. So our first body paragraph is going to be about money, because we said that was the best idea. The second body paragraph is gonna be about education and experience. And if we wanted to talk about independence, that could be another paragraph. So yes, you should go to college. So the thesis statement here could be, young people should go to college for financial success, to further their education and to develop their independence and learn who they are. Okay. So that's the thesis statement. It provides a roadmap. Yes, they should, that's your position. And because it will give them financial success, it will further their education and life experience, and it will lead to their independence and growing into who they're gonna be, as adults. This arrow goes both ways too. Every paragraph has to support that thesis statement, okay? It goes both ways. And then at the end, you have a conclusion, okay? What about the hook? How do you start the paper? If the thesis statement is the last sentence of the introduction, what do you write before that? How do you start it? This paper, this hypothetical paper is, yes, young people should go to college, right? Okay, zoom out. What is it talking about? Like in one word. It's talking about college, it's talking about education, maybe education attainment. It's talking about American youth. So you can introduce the topic without giving your position away. You don't want to show your cards yet. Just introduce the topic. You can do that with history. You can do that with statistics or figures. 45% of American adults have a bachelor's degree from college. I don't know if that's true, I just made that up, but a statistic like that. Or it could be young Americans go to school until they're 18. All young Americans go to school until they're 18, but many choose to further their education post high school, after high school. So you're mentioning the topic, maybe you're using a quote or statistic or something that gets people's attention to lead into your thesis statement of saying young people should go to college because it'll lead to money, experience, and independence. Boom, boom, boom. And then there's your paragraphs. That's all it is. When you finish writing a hook and a thesis statement, and I would write the thesis statement first. Once you do this and my first idea, second idea, third idea, once you've done this, work on the thesis statement. Then write the hook, your introduction to the topic. And then what you want to do is just read through that paragraph start to finish and ask yourself, does it flow? Does it sound like one idea? Does it sound smooth? Or does it sound like two separate ideas? And if it sounds like two separate ideas, that's where you put a bridge sentence or two in there. That's where you need another sentence or two to connect those two ideas, to make it flow and more readable and not choppy, okay? So there's other ways to write. This is kind of like the basics, but honestly, if you get this done, if you can figure this out and do a good job with this kind of a structure, you'll be fine in college. I mean, it's not just for EOC tests and freshmen and sophomores in high school. It's a legitimate way to write. We have told you on the research paper what these two paragraphs are going to be. And you don't need a third. We've told you what these two are. Okay. So let's look at that checklist real quick, and I'm going to come back to this a couple times as we look at that checklist that you picked up. So this is not a grade. You don't need to initial these blanks to turn them in or anything like that. This is for you. But I want to make sure because we're moving on to literature tomorrow. We're kind of leaving research behind a little bit. We'll talk about it, one or two things each day about it, but then we've got other things to do. So I don't want you to lose anything, lose points by missing things. So here's your checklist. The first one, you should be done with all your research cards. That's last 6 weeks, that's over. You should have Word and PowerPoint on your laptop. You should have downloaded Office 365 from the company portal. Okay, so if you've done those two things, or you got Word on your laptop, maybe you didn't need to download it, but if you've got it, check the box, you're done. The personal interview as a source. I didn't have a lot of people do that, I had a couple. If you haven't turned in the questions and answers from your interview, please email that to me. It could be a picture of your written out questions and answers, but please send that to me if you did that and want to use it as a source. If not, you check that off, it doesn't apply to you. Okay, the third one is kind of where a lot of you are. Maybe half my students have done that and half haven't. The third one is in Noodle Tools, you want to arrange the note cards in an outline based on what paragraph that card would best fit. So I've got a card on an overview and a card on history, and I think that will go in the introduction paragraph, so I'll put those two cards here. And then these 4 cards look like they go to the first body paragraph, which is roles and responsibilities. And then these cards go here, and then you might have a card for the conclusion or you might not. But kind of line all the cards up and color code them. And if you click on the box, there's a palette, a little icon of a palette. That's the thing a painter holds with the paint. And click that, and then you pick a color. And so like your introduction can be red, and then orange and green or whatever. But color code them, but arrange your note cards that way. Okay. The next thing is the outline and thesis statement worksheet. That's due Friday. Why am I having you do this if we just did it in Noodle Tools? The reason is you might have 4 or 5 note cards on one paragraph, on one topic. You don't have to use all of them in the paper. You're picking your top information. You're picking your best stuff. You definitely don't need to use all the note cards in the paper, because what if you had 1 card for the introduction, which that's fine. What if you had like 6 cards for paragraph 1 and only 3 cards for paragraph 2? If you use all of the information, then this paragraph is going to be twice as long as that. So what I want you to do is do what we did here. Once you've arranged the note cards in Noodle Tools, with research you never delete cards, you just keep them all, but you might not use all of them. So with this, paragraph 1, roles and responsibilities, I've got A, B, C. What are your top 3 note cards for that? What's the most important information that you want to put in the paper? And then you just write it down, and I just need the title of the card, or like a 1-word: money, college, uniform, retirement, work environment, team, you know, real short. But this is an activity for you to look at all of your cards that you have for that paragraph, and then narrow it down to like the top 3 or 4. You can do 4, but I'm wanting, a lot of times less is more. It's better if it's shorter and concise and like really to the point and good, okay? The thesis statement down here, I've given you a template you can use. You don't have to use this template, but it works. Maybe boring, but it works. Being a doctor is a great career because something dealing with job description, that's this paragraph. And something good dealing with requirements, salaries, or benefits, that's this paragraph. So that thesis statement template is stating your position. Being a teacher is a great career because you get to influence young people and help people, and whatever the benefits might be, June, July, August, I don't know. You know, so position and then roadmap for the 2 paragraphs to follow, right? And we've given you that outline. So in the middle, here's the 4-paragraph outline. Same thing on the packet, the big packet, same thing on this worksheet. Introduction, roles and responsibilities, requirements and benefits, and then the conclusion is your first person self-reflection. Why is this a good fit for you? Why are you interested in doing this yourself? Okay, so that's the checklist, the first half. The second half of the checklist gets a little more mechanical. Okay, that's all about writing it. The rest of these, is your thesis statement the last sentence in your introduction? Yes, check the box. It's just a checklist. No more than one direct quote in each paragraph. What I mean by direct quote, I mean you're taking material from Ferguson's or the database, the source, and you're copying and pasting directly exactly as it is with quotation marks. Only one of those per paragraph. The reason for that is I want to read your words. I want to know what you put together and think. If I wanted all direct quotes from Ferguson's, I just read Ferguson's. So one direct quote in each paragraph. The rest of it should be yours. You can use the paraphrasing from your note cards. That's you putting it in your own words. I told you early on, the better you do there, the easier the paper will come. Because you can copy and paste that all day long. Okay, and I'll show you about citations when we get closer to the end. The next checklist item, include your Enneagram results in your conclusion, if it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, don't include them, or if you didn't do it, you don't have them. But if you scored a 2, helper, and your job is gonna be a nurse, teacher, counselor, therapist, doctor, somebody who helps people, okay, that fits. Add the Enneagram stuff to your conclusion because that will make that stronger. The last items here really are just mechanical things. Times New Roman, 12-point font, double spaced, MLA header with an original title, works cited page at the end. I'm gonna take you through all of that. If you wanna see it ahead of time, I do have a video in Schoology on formatting. And what you can do is watch that on your phone, have your laptop up, and whatever I'm saying, do on the video, do it. Okay, if you missed class, missed that day, we do that. Next week, probably Monday or Tuesday. Or if you just wanna look at it in advance, I walk you through how to fix all those things. And I didn't mention font color either on this checklist, but we're gonna fix that too. You know how if you use a link, a lot of times the link shows up blue and sometimes underlined? As you're copying your paraphrased words from Noodle Tools into your paper, a lot of times those show up like a dark gray. It's close to black, but it's not exactly. So we're gonna make sure there's no underlining and make sure it's all black as well, just so it looks right. Papers are due next Friday, but we will go to the library on Wednesday to print them, and we'll be printing on one side only. So that's the last item on the checklist. So your goal is to have your paper written by Wednesday, so when we go to the library, you can print it off and you're done. Technically, it's due Friday. I will take it on Wednesday. If you print it in the library, I'll take it that day. Okay. And the MLA header and the Times New Roman 12-point, if you mess that up, it's not a big deal. At the end, we can fix all of that easily at the end. I mentioned the papers I write for school. I write single space because I want to see more words on the screen of my laptop. Okay. And then at the end, I make it double spaced because that's proper for APA or MLA format. Okay. So that's my spiel about research. The packet you got from day one, it's got your due dates, it's got the outline, it's got MLA stuff, how to make the MLA header, but we'll do that together. If you did the personal interview, the works cited page, Noodle Tools is gonna create that for you, but if you did an interview as a source, that's not in there. So I've got down here exactly how you'll type that and put that in, okay, for the works cited page. And we're gonna do some of that mechanical stuff together next week. If you did not do a research project, if you did not do research cards and you know, probably failed last 6 weeks or whatever, I don't want you to fail again. What you need to do is pick a career where you know somebody who does it. What does mom do? What does your cousin do? And I want you to go interview them and just learn all you can from them or from Wikipedia or wherever, and you're writing a paper too. You will not have research in there. You will not make an A on it, but a 60 or a 70 is a lot better than a 0 because it counts as a test. So think about a job that you can write about, something you know about, or something where you know people and you can go learn all about it real quick, and you're still writing a paper even if you don't have research and Noodle tools to use, okay? Any questions about the research stuff? I've been going for a little bit, a lot of information. This should have been kind of a review, but just as a reminder, as a refresher. Any questions about it? So tomorrow we're gonna start with a short story. We will read a short story tomorrow. The next day, Thursday, Ms. Thomas will be back with us as a Thursday. And she's got some activities, or she's gonna watch us kind of work through some things with a short story. So we're getting back to literature. We're not gonna have a lot of class time for the research anymore.